What is going on, everyone? My name is JX, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have this month's event quest dialogue, Arachnophobia. Now, we actually did the motion comic breakdown at the beginning of the month, so we kind of understand a little bit of it. And if you want motion comics to keep coming and keep, being released, show some love, comment on the video, hit like. Kabam Jack said if people love it, we'll continue to do it. So let Kabam know motion comics, keep them coming. But like I said with that motion comic breakdown, the event might be different. And it actually is. So in the motion comic, it was actually Spider-Man Supreme who said, "I've got these nightmares, and I need to deal with it." And then Spot attacks him. So it's a little bit different in the event quest dialogue because I'll explain it later. But it's a little different. It's not too different. But yeah, and obviously when I talk about these event quests, I always say some of these event quests have been 3 previous events have kind of correlated together. But this one really is only one, and that's when Spider-Man 29 and Penny Parker came to the game. Miguel O'Hara he came to the battle realm to hunt for spider totems, and you can see him in the motion comic. He's hunting for that version of Penny Parker with the totem, because only Spider-Verse characters have spider totems. The other variants don't. So yeah, he found Penny, and it's like we have this oncoming threat, and then nothing's happened since. They've been in events, but it didn't really correlate. And this event is the spider totem, not really finale, but it seems like this has been leading up to this event. But it honestly doesn't feel that way. I'm happy because Spider-Man Supreme came to the game, but I was like, Moreland's coming to the game because the spider totems, they've been teasing it super. They've been super on the spider totems. I was like, Moreland in the Inheritors' sole purpose and sole villainy is to find the spider totems and consume them for themselves. And the whole spider totems have to deal with that event. And even when they went to the narrative roadmap video, it had Moreland and the Inheritors fighting the entire Spider-Verse. So the Spot being the enemy of the Spider-Verse totems never really occurred to me. And this event, it kind of makes sense, but I was like, no way they're not doing the Inheritors. I was like, come on. But yeah, no, I was completely wrong. And in Spider-Man 29 obviously isn't even in this event, same with Penny Parker, so I'm a little disappointed they're not in this event because it would have been cooler. But yeah, we have Spider Supreme, which is pretty cool. Alright, so while asteroid hopping, which I feel like we've been doing all year, a glowing sigil spontaneously bursts into light. It honestly feels a glowing sigil. If you remember May's event, we had Wong and Rintra talk about their glowing sigils, about their spells, because basically, that spell, Arcane Circle. When the light fades, they find themselves cobwebbing a library face to face with not only one, but 2 Spider-Men. So this is actually kind of cool, because it says they, which obviously we are the summoner, but who you are, however you identify, it can be they and still represent you, because that's what they can represent. So it's kind of cool, it's they, because it's, not alluding to the summoner is this person, it's us, every person is different who plays a summoner, so it's pretty awesome. Alright, so I'm gonna watch yourself. I don't trust this Doctor Stranger Danger. And Spider-Man Supreme is Spider Supreme, a little for short, kind of coined that term. He's like, my teleportation spell was harmless, mostly important. I need to help and watch the fastest way to reach you. So it said the Cobbed Library. It kind of seems like he teleported us to the Sanctum Sanctorum, or his Sanctum Sanctorum, which is a little interesting because usually when characters come to the battle realm, they don't come with a place. Sometimes it happens, or sometimes it just appears, like with the Guillotine event in Purgatory. In that event, the cutscene, we got the House of Guillotine said that she found it. So sometimes we know pieces just end up in the battle realm, but I wonder if he brought his own, or if this is, obviously they can't, once they enter the battle realm, they can't leave it. So it's pretty interesting. Alright, Spider-Verse is in danger. I need your help to prevent it from being destroyed and likely taking all of us. So this kind of thing with Spider-Man 29, it seemed like he was saying an oncoming thing was happening. And even in Marvel Realm of Champions, the 2099 as well talked about a danger. He didn't talk about a danger to the Spider-Verse, but he talked about a danger for everyone, which kind of meant the Chrono Serpent, because he was from the future. But maybe he meant this. It's kind of up to interpretation, because he actually lost his memory. So it's kind of hard to find out. All right, so down there, buddy. Let's put in a pin in the fate of the Spider-Verse and start with, who the heck are you? I figured it would be obvious. My name is Peter Parker, and I'm Spider-Man, the Sorcerer Supreme. And classic Peter's like, get out, no way. I've always wanted to be a sorcerer or find a sorcerer. It seems like. He's like, I don't understand the thought of Spider-Verse, just a concept. So this is pretty cool. So people ask, what the hell is the Spider-Verse? How is the Spider-Verse any different than the multiverse? Why is it called the Spider-Verse? Well, he explains, unlike other variants, we are all bound by a force called the Web of Fate and Destiny. Obviously, this is straight from the comics. Madam Web obviously protects the Web of Destiny, and it connects everyone, Shattered Dimensions, the actual Spider-Verse comics. It all comes together, and this is what bounds them together. The Spider-Verse is a bounding of the Web of Destiny that connects each Spider-Verse and their Spider Totem. So pretty exciting because people always ask that. It creates powerful connection between Spider-Man, Woman, and the Spider-Folks. It is what protects and unifies us. There's a tear in the web, and it's getting bigger every day. It grows a little fraying. It's tattering the Spider-Verse. So he's basically saying, Spider-Verse in danger. I need you guys to help me figure it out. He says because the web technically touches every point in space and time across multiverse. Exactly. The Battle Realm is a fixed space timeline. It's just a matter of finding the source in this tear and preventing it from starting. So kind of explaining why he's in the Battle Realm. He's looking for the danger, and it's here. If that were the case, the web would likely be destroyed. So it's not. So he's like, he knows it's coming, but he's not. He's like, let's get going. Source is pretty much Spider-Verse. So this is pretty cool. He asked, hey, where have you been this whole time? And he's like, I'm kind of like the Madam Web, where I'm protecting it. Which is interesting, because we have Madam Web in MROC, who is coming to the contest, I think, in this December. So it's going to be interesting if it does play like that. And even if they use the Spider-Man 29 in MROC and use the MCOC version, and also combine it with, combine the story with Madam Web, what's going to be happening. It's pretty interesting. And Kraven shows up, which is pretty funny, and he's like, I heard there's a new Spider-Man. I need to check how he checks the original. So it's pretty awesome there. Because before we didn't really, he felt kind of different. He was in the Savage Lands. He was like, I'm here to protect the Savage Lands because it's being messed with by S.H.I.E.L.D. and other people. I'm its guardian. We didn't really see him as a Spider-Verse villain, so this is kind of cool. He's not really a villain, more or less, but it's cool to see him like, new Spider-Man. All right, I gotta go fight him. Spider-Man's like, if anyone's gotta know anything, it's gonna be Kingpin, which is pretty interesting because, obviously with Into the Spider-Verse, he was the one who opened up the Spider-Verse. And obviously, he was on Safe Haven at the beginning of the year. He even says a swarm of Galactuses is destroyed his stuff in obviously Hell's Kitchen. So it's pretty cool. Obviously we have the Multiverse Galactus army coming. I cannot wait. Probably for this December, I'm guessing, or we even know next month is actually going to have a little Galactus, at least Wakanda dealing with it, with the crossover of the movie. And he's pretty interesting. So he's saying Spot has entered the Battle Realm. And Will's confess. This is pretty funny. Goblin says, "Hello, Willie. I'm turning in my 2 weeks' notice. You'll find it described on this pumpkin bomb. Here you go." Yeah, I could have done it better. Could have done better with that, but it's pretty funny. It's my responsibility to protect and maintain the serving. I keep an eye on the web on behalf of Spider Totems who created it. So we get more Spider Totem lures. So, I kind of talked to Van, was like, hey, were you guys teasing Moreland? And they were like, no, we were just teasing the Spider Totems themselves. So 2099, the event didn't tease Moreland. It just teased the Spider Totems. But, for me, I'm like, if I look at the comics, Spider Totems are so tied to Moreland. Okay, I'm just annoyed, all right? I'm a little heartbroken it's not him, but Spot is still cool. Actually, Spot is one of my favorite Spider villains. He's not even like a villain, but it's just so cool. I just love the idea of it. And before we didn't talk about Spider Totems, but Spider Supreme is now explaining it. Spider Totems. He's like, the real Spider Totems, the power behind all of us, power beyond our understanding. So basically, Spider Totems, there's a god, a Spider God, and he gives these totems and they become their avatar, and our Peter is like the main Spider God avatar. He sounds that's freaky Spider Supreme when you're saying sort of some Cthulhu style spider creatures from beyond, which is kind of, yeah, they are like these weird like giant beast spiders that we saw in the motion comic. Someone said that was man spider. No, they were just the spider gods, I guess you could say, spider race of beings, spider mystic beings. And Mr. Negative shows up because that's the intel we got from Mr. Wilson Fisk. And he said, I'm waiting for someone from the 8-legged army to show up, but you weren't even on my bingo card. Pretty interesting indeed. Which 8-legged army is, if I remember correctly, let's see if it is what I think it is. Okay. I was trying to think. I was like 8-legged. I couldn't remember if it was Spider, if they were trying to say Spider, or if he was trying to say Hydra. I guess he just means Spider-Man. But I was like trying to think, like, does he mean the mafia that he was like trying to take over land, like Wilson Fisk was saying, because he is part of the ISO. Like all of them are kind of part of the ISO mafia. They kind of sometimes they're against each other, sometimes they're not. So it was interesting to see what he's talking about. But his new connection to the Dark Force led him. So this is pretty cool. So obviously, Mr. Negative actually deals from the Dark Force. Same with Cloak and Dagger, because they both had the same experiment, the D-Light experiments. Mr. Spot also has power from the Dark Force. So it's pretty interesting. And so this is pretty cool. So he was saying that Spot kind of had, when he came to the battle room, he keeps getting these nightmares that were saying creatures toying with fates of everyone, not just Spider Punks, but heroes. Pretty cool. Spider Punk is an actual Marvel character and Spider character. He obviously has a guitar. We even saw in the Battlegrounds cutscene, if you remember, it looked like either Spider Punk's guitar. I think it was Prince's guitar, but Spider Punk actually has a version of Prince's guitar. So we were like, does that tease Spider Punk? We weren't sure, but pretty interesting that it does say Spider Punk. And obviously there's a Spider Punk. Spot needed some help finding the right resources. So obviously Spot seems like he came to the battle room. He's just getting these nightmares, and he's trying to act on them. And he's going to try to destroy the Spider-Verse because he doesn't want these creatures to, I guess, affect the Spider people and affect him. It's interesting that it affects him specifically. It seems like the Dark Force basically, when he interacted with the Battle Realm's uniqueness, and then it basically let him into the Spider-Verse and become a part of it because of his Dark Force. And then he saw the Web of Destiny, and then he saw the Spider God creatures that are terrifying, and he's like, I need to destroy them because they're affecting everyone. And Spider Supreme, he's wanting to keep the Spider-Verse alive. He is serving these gods. It's pretty cool. He says, what does a transposed quantum resonant frequency even mean? Well, if you finished the college instead of running off to join the circus, you would have learned about. And he gets cut off, but it's pretty funny. And actually, Doc Ock actually says, I call it the dimensional catalyst, an explosive reaction of violently unbinding complex quantum entanglements, which we've actually seen before. We've seen quite a lot of quantum entanglement in the Battle Realm. When Dormammu came to the game, his dark dimension was quantum entangled with the actual Battle Realm, and it created these portals all across the Battle Realm. We've seen quantum entanglement with actual Ghost, with the actual Micro Realm, which we might get obviously an Ant-Man 3 Quantum Mania event next year in February. So it's pretty cool. And then obviously we had the Quantum Realm with actual Galactus Galen being in there, and being with Quicksilver. So it was kind of cool that they talk about the quantum entanglement. Quantum usually means what time and space, so it's pretty cool. All right, the faction of the Spider Realm draws the rogue trios into the depths, slams the portal shut behind them, leaving alone out in his lab. The Spider-Man cry out, the Spider-Verse splits in tears and seams and vibrant sparks and bursts. I love it when it says vibrant sparks and bursts, because it literally, you can just picture Into the Spider-Verse and know exactly what it's talking about. It's pretty damn cool. And Spider screams like, it's happening, the web, the totem, it's all in flames. Yeah, imagine Into the Spider-Verse, but just in flames. And then, like, an actual, like, actually, you can probably see Spider Supreme's SP3 and kind of imagine it in flames. But we're too late. So, yeah, he actually does it, and the Spider-Verse is getting burned down, basically. Or at least the Web of Destiny is being burned down. In the distance, colossal creatures. So the ones from the motion comic and the Spider Gods from the comics, they're physically there, and they're actually all their legs and eyes and sit motionless in the void. You can just picture darkness in the eyes of their lights and the like silhouette figures of their 8-legged beings. And that's what Mr. Negative was saying, is he was saying the 8-legged army, which meant the Spider Gods, their forms are merely burned out to the house. So yeah, they're just dead. Okay. Nobody seemed to realize what they need to be done. And this is pretty cool. He's like, I've done it. He's almost like boasting. He's like, I've done it. Rejoice, Johnny on. The Spot has freed you all from the villainy of the spider demons. It's pretty cool. So yeah, he's just going on. He's like, you can defeat me. I've already won. It's pretty funny. And Spider Supreme is just like freaking out after this happens. He's like, yeah, my life is a lie. Like, I'm glad I'm finally free. I've been serving these creatures. they've been manipulating my life. I've been doing their agenda. Never again, Peter. He even says, he says that in the next thing. He says, as a Sword Supreme, I spent days unable. Terrible things have happened to me. Protect the Spider-Verse. My family members slain and lives ruined. Innocent people lost. And even, this kind of cool is like, will there always be Spider-Man? That also means like a Ben, Uncle Ben has to die, or Aunt May has to die and create a spider, or someone close to them has to die for them to become a spider character and get a spider totem. Like, it's kind of interesting. Like, he kind of like says that all. You don't see, we finally have full control of our lives. We're not bound by the web of fate. It's kind of cool, you know. With fate, it's like, are you destined to do the same thing? So if you're like, I don't know, it's up to your interpretation, right? If you believe in destiny, no matter what you do, you always have the destiny. It's so interesting. It's like, do you have control of your life if you have to follow your destiny? Or destiny is a good thing. Take control of your destiny. And he's saying, we can finally do this. I no longer have to do this. Spider-Man Peter Parker, he's like, I need to restore this. What do you mean? This is the Spider-Verse. We should be doing this. This is your job. And he's like, no, I'm no. Leave it to die. The event ends with this closing thing, which is I love. And he said, sorry, Summoner, I thought this would be another wacky romp through the old Rogues Gallery, but this was different. And now I can't shake the feeling that this is just the start of something terrible. And the event ends. Okay, so yeah, this is pretty cool. Spot was pretty awesome. He's just cool and Command did a cool thing. And obviously this is supposed to be kind of like an unofficial Across Spider-Verse crossover, because Spot, obviously the main villain of Across Spider-Verse Part 1. And yeah, Web of Destiny is destroyed. And honestly, we have, like I said, we have the MROC, the Spider Guild coming with Madam Web, aka Gwen Stacy as Madam Web, coming probably in December when we have all these interlopers and new neighbors coming to the game with the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. So I guess maybe we could find out more then, or maybe when we have the new 2 spider villains next year on the map, which could be Morbius, Sandman, Lizard. I mean, we even heard Lizard almost joined the game this year, so I guess we'll find out then. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And next time we see Miguel, maybe he'll talk about it. But yeah, that's the end of the event. Let me know what you guys thought. It was pretty fun. Still salty Moreland didn't come, because I think he would have been awesome. But it's pretty cool. The Web of Destiny is destroyed. I mean, I never thought that was gonna happen. And Spot would be the one to burn it to ash. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Peace out, and I'll see you guys next.